London is best known for being a busy urban city buzzing with life and culture, with something always happening like festivals and market fairs. London also has many historical landmarks, like the Millennium Wheel, also known as the London Eye, which was opened in the year 2000 and kicked off the 21st century for London. It also brought lots of tourism for London, and in turn boosted the economy. Another way that tourism brings money to London is with tours on the River Thames, and even bus tours around the central roads, in which this also advertises the city by word of mouth of tourists, telling others to visit the sites and attractions. As I will be looking at advertising for my final product, I took a few pictures of advertising used to attract visitors to London, and adverts put up in places where there are a lot of people, like in the line for London Eye. As many people will be standing there for a long time, it advertises and can persuade them to see other attractions. This is a market stall to help boost cultural diversity by selling Spanish food and produce. However, the logos on the tents are all adverts showing more of London and trying to persuade people to go to these places. They also have loads of hashtags to spread the word using social media. One of the most iconic images of London are the Houses of Parliament over the River Thames. It's one of the oldest buildings in London, built in the Middle Ages. It's been used in hundreds of movies and TV programmes, which all help to show the architecture of London and attract visitors. One of my favourite things about London is it's always changing and constantly becoming more larger and more diverse. However, this can be a negative, as in progress, decades and even centuries of history may be lost forever. Another valuable resource of London is the Thames River, running straight through the city. It was a crucial part of Old London, as it provided drinking water and travel. It's still used today to ferry tourists around, mostly for leisure activities like rowing and sailing. It also has the Thames Barrier, which prevents floods. A key part of London's ability to run smoothly is the many ways to travel through the city, like the Golden Jubilee Bridge. It was originally created by Ismail Kingdom Brunel. It lets pedestrians cross the Thames safely. It was originally used as a railway bridge to connect two stations on opposite sides of the river. London is one of the biggest hubs of art and culture in Europe, and art is shown in many ways, like these underpass skate parks, which is allowed to be graffiti on. It shows art can come in many, many different forms and be understood in loads of different ways. It also allows people to put their mark on the walls of London, and this helps prevent graffiti. It gives artists another place to leave their mark. This picture shows the diversity of all the art in the underpass. I also found business cards and stickers advertising shows and concerts, which targets the type of audience that may be at the skate park. This is the Red Shed. It was built as a temporary theatre in front of the National Theatre, celebrating a new play. It's one of my favourite buildings as it's only there for a year, and it makes an impression on everyone who walks past it, and they all wonder why it's there. Outside the National Theatre, this is the sculpture of Lawrence Oliver. He was one of the founders of the National Theatre. He was also an actor and director. It stands outside the theatre and shows him clutching a sword, reproducing a shot from one of his plays. This is the London Pride sculpture. It was made by Frank Dobson in 1951. It shows how art has changed in 60 years, and makes you think how art today will be judged in the future, and if it will be remembered or forgotten. The Albert Memorial is located in Kensington Gardens, on Albert Memorial Road, opposite the Royal Albert Hall. This is one of London's most ornate monuments, designed by George Scott, unveiled in 1872. The Albert Memorial commemorates the death of Prince Albert. The memorial shows Prince Albert holding the royal catalogue of the Great Exhibition held in Hyde Park in 1851, which he inspired and helped to organise. Marble figures representing Europe, Asia, Africa and America stand at each corner, and higher up there are further figures representing manufacture, commerce, agriculture and engineering. The Royal Albert Hall is a concert hall on the northern edge of Kensington, best known for holding proms constantly, annually, and each summer since 1941. Since its opening by Queen Victoria in 1871, the world's leading artists from several performance genres have appeared on the stage. It's become one of UK's most treasured buildings. One of the great things about London is the way it incorporates lots of parks and areas of beauty to offset the city, and in some places the city can't even be seen, and it's a nice way to bringing the countryside into the city for people who don't get out to the country often. One of the other great things about London is, even in the heart of the city, there's still wildlife in parks and recreational areas, which helps to diversify the city and break up the urban feel. By adding these parks, lakes, it also attracts wildlife, like ducks and swans and a variety of interesting birds. The parks also attract wildlife, like squirrels and other rodent animals, which in turn make them more of an interesting place to visit. Thank you for listening to my presentation.